Hello my crafty friends, it's Beverly here over at Crafting Chaos with the second of our Pilgrim edition for Thanksgiving, and I've cut out all the pieces that I need, so mostly they're here. I've also got some in my pot here and we're going to make a start. Now what I didn't do, and I didn't realise I hadn't done this, is actually put a score lines in for the base card. So all I've done is just use my scoreboard and a scoring tool to score them in by hand. So that's something I could add in later if I choose to, but at the moment, because I just want to crack on, I've just scored it for myself. So I scored it along there, fold it in half, and then we're going to be working on this side here. So this is our matting layer for this side. Decided to do it in this colour so that we've got the full Pilgrim Father there. Now as I can see, I've actually got a little bit of an overlap here where the fingers have joined, and I'm just going to trim that off so that at an angle so that it's not a problem. So I'm just folding it in half and I'm just going to trim that off like so. So when I open it up now, hopefully we'll see that that is no longer an issue. So I'm just going to curve it round, and then when we fit this piece on now, hopefully it's not going to be showing, and our piece for on top of the base card is going to mat nicely. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do, is get that base layer into position. So again, I'm using my pin flare bookbinding glue, and I've explained to you before why I prefer this glue. Low water content, gives me wiggle room when I'm doing these sort of projects to make sure that I've got a chance to move them if I need to. It doesn't clog, it doesn't seem to clog the nozzle at all. Even if I leave it without the lid on for several minutes, it still doesn't seem to clog. So it is actually one of my favourite glues for doing this. So then I'm just going to offer this up to the card and carefully line it up. So the idea is that then where we have this bit folded, that bit was chopped off, if you will, from the file, we've now got the actual image right there for us. Alright, so now if I get some of the pieces out, what have I done with the head? It's right near the bottom. Now the head, I didn't have any flesh coloured card, so I've kind of used this one. What I did, I actually got the scan and cut to actually draw the face on for me, so I drew it first and then let it cut out. So what I'm going to do to get it into a fleshy colour, I'm going to use a pro marker. Now if you've got flesh coloured card, by all means I suggest you use that, but as I couldn't find a piece that was floating my boat, if you will, in the flesh colour, I decided to use an alcohol marker, and I'm just going to go over using the broad tip just to get it into a more of a flesh type colour, and hopefully I'm going to like it better. So I'm just going over, so this is always an option, so I've cut it on like a cream coloured card, and then I'm just going over that cream card using what I consider to be a little bit more like flesh tone. Now hopefully when that dries out, I'm going to like that better. So I'm going to do that for the head. I'm also going to repeat that for the hands. So I'm going to do it on both sides. Whilst I've got the pen out, I'm going to do it. Do that for the hands, do it on both sides. And I know I've got good coverage. So both hands again are getting the same treatment, as it were. So they're both getting coloured in with a fleshy coloured pro marker. Just going to flip that over, make sure that I've got good coverage, and also the ears are getting the treatment as well, so that she is all coloured in and looking amazing. So it's actually come out quite big. You could actually reduce the size a lot of this. I've just cut it at the size that I designed it at just to see what it was like, and it's actually quite a decent sized card. I'd say, let me get my ruler and I'll give you some dimensions. So it's about 8, nearly 9, 8 3/4 high, and I'd say roughly about 4.5 at the widest point. So just slightly bigger than a DL card in total. So I've got that shaded in now, and I've got the hands as well. So I'm going to stick those into position. So again, using the book binding glue, just adding some. And I have got the matting layer, so it does have a very slight border around, so I'm allowing that for that as I stick my pieces down. And you could see that in the file, that was the case. So this one is going to come on here eventually, the hat, part of a hat. But we need a hair on before that, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just going to stick with, as we're going. Now the ears don't show very much, but I am going to include them because I think it looks better and more finished. So I just actually needed to have done that before I stuck the head down. So I'm going to carefully see if I can get underneath just to where the ears would be and slot it in like so. They might not actually show when they're on when I've got the hat and her hair on, but just for completeness I am going to add them under the face now, so like so. And I really should have done that first. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue underneath where I've slipped them under here. I'm just going to leave my tweezers to lift it up a little bit, put a dab of glue and slide it back into position. And I'm going to do the same at this side here. So just a dab of glue and stick it down. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So next I'm going to put the hands in position. So again, here we've got the hands. So again, just adding a little bit of the pin flare and sticking the hands down. And we're going to do the same with this one. And I think it's nice to see the file actually cut out and made into a project, because then you know that the cutting file actually will cut, and it cuts really well. Okay, so that's where we're up to. And all I've got is my iPad open, so I've got it as a reference to sort of what to put next. So the next thing I think we need to go with is the tunic. So I'm going to just arrange the tunic like so, so that then the arms for the tunic, which we've disappeared somewhere. Where have they gone? Underneath here, no. There's the hat. Oh, there they are. So then we've got the arms for the tunic would go on top, and they're going to be slightly raised up possibly. I'm making a decision as I'm going along. So I'm just going to put a few pieces on and see how it's looking, so that I don't make any boo-boos and stick the wrong pieces down first. So the idea is that the arms will stick down so that they are covering the tops of the hands like so, and that's going to go on there like that. So I do need to stick the bodice down first of all, so I'm going to do that now. So the main part of the tunic, if you will, dress, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to do that next. So again, remembering that I have got that slight over, I can actually leave a little border around, so I need to remember that. So that's that. And then next comes the arms, so I'm going to do that. And I think what I'll do is keep these flat, but I will raise up the tunic where it's actually, let's move that down just a little bit. So where this part comes in, if you will, I'll raise that up. So I'm going to stick the arms down just flat, I've decided, but I will pop the other part up. So again, just following the main piece underneath this backing layer for the positioning, because obviously I'm just leaving that little border. Now actually I think we're going to need the shoes on, and I'm going to pop those up and have them to the front. But before we stick the shoes on, we need to locate the little buckles that I've cut out in gold from the shoes. I seem to have misplaced one. Oh no, I found it again. Here we go. So again, the shoes I'm going to put on with a little bit of a foam pad. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on the backs of the buckles, like so. Stick those into position, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Whoops, might do it better if I just have it down, like so. And then I'm going to stick that one in position on that shoe. And it took no time, hardly any time at all, to actually cut it out. I was really super impressed with the way the machine handled it. It handled it really well. There didn't seem to be any glitches. So far so good. So now I'm going to just pop those shoes up on foam pads so that they stand a bit proud of the tunic underneath, like so. And this one also. I'm just going to pop those off, and again, following the layer underneath, you can see the position, like so. And the next one's going on here, like so. So I'm just using the backing brown layer as a guide as to where to put the pieces. Okay, so that's the shoes. So the next part is the apron, and I think I'm going to pop that up on a foam pad too. Just excuse me, I'm flicking things everywhere, not the best. So I'm going to pop a few pieces of foam onto this to make sure it gets supported. So I'm just going to trim down and add 2. Okay, and then pull off the backings. Can't decide whether these ones are actually easier with the tweezers or with my fingernails. I am struggling still a bit with my nails, because although they have been polished and sorted now, which is making me feel a bit better, they are still quite sharp because I'd filed them really sharp because they were getting on my nerves. So now I'm going to stick this into position onto the girl, like so. And next I think I'm going to do the hair, but what I want to do is, because it has one stuck on top of the other, like so, to give that idea of there being more layers to a hair, if you will, I'm actually going to use one of my alcohol markers. So there's no reason why you can't use your alcohol markers in conjunction with your cutouts, and I'm just giving that an edge here and here, so that when they're stuck together you get that definition of the being. Oops, what am I trying to do there? Try to put the lid on the glue for my marker. So I'll just put that to one side. Now I'm going to put the hair on, like so. I think that's okay. So again, just going to do this one flat and I'll raise the other one up. So we'll do one flat and one raised and hope that we've got it. Okay, so we're going to position the hair. Okay, like so. I'm going to raise the next piece up, and I am going to just offset it slightly. So I'm just going to trim off a tiny bit at that side to allow for that offsetting there, so that it looks a bit more realistic. And then I'm just going to add a couple of foam pads to that. Hi there, crafty friends. Sorry, my battery went on my phone and I hadn't realised we'd stopped filming, so sorry about that. I did carry on and I finished the card. As you can see, I've now got the hair in place and the buttons. I've just done a little bit of pink rouge on the cheek, just so that it looks like she's got a little bit of a blush, and also around the hairline, just to give it a bit of depth. I've added with some grey, I've just added some flicks to indicate that that's where the fold of the material might be. So that's the completed card. You can see it like that. Will stand up nicely, just slightly bigger than a DL, and I hope you like it. So the two that we've got so far are the turkey and the pilgrim girl. So I'll be going on to make the pilgrim boy. If you've enjoyed the video to make the pilgrim girl, please like, share and subscribe. It is a nice easy file to cut, and I'm sure you'll be able to cut it well on your Scan and Cuts, and it does cut well because it's been tested now, obviously. So yeah, go for it, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'll see you in my next video. Thanks, bye.